Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague Season 3 here over the casting desk with myself, ODPixel, and also Draskell. We're ready to get ourselves into the first game of the first series of the day today here between Vega Squadron and Basically Unknown. And, well, we've got two picks on both sides so far coming out. Basically Unknown, they take the Magnus because it doesn't get banned out. Vega Squadron, though, they get the Solo Chen and they get the Mag Beastmaster, and now they've got the Gyrocopter. But this hero that we've all been talking about recently, Bounty Hunter, it's going to go to BU.
I think it's kind of what we were saying on the couch before the game started is sometimes when you're playing in these matchups where there's so many good, like, high-tier heroes, sometimes you just don't ban any of them. Sometimes you're just like, yeah, we'll just let as many through as possible and see what we can get. And if they take out the Queen in the first two, which was maybe one of the bans that isn't so common, we see Queen first picked a lot, but we don't actually ever see it prioritized highly enough to be banned. In this game, Vega decided to ban out the Queen, the Wisp barely ever gets through anymore. And then, of course, that leaves not only Magnus in the pool, which basically Unknown are going to love to go for, but it also leaves Bounty, Beastmaster, Gyro, like 3 super high-tier heroes. So now both teams with very high-powered lineups and Disruptor Bounty combo, we spoke about it the other day, Track with a Glimpse, you're going to be able to get really easy kills. Literally
a synergy made in heaven. And, well, with the Disruptor now picked up, that's going to be cleared to be, well, either obviously Stumannen or Pure Evil. And also thinking about the Bounty Hunter, I was saying to you maybe that's going to be Relax's hero, obviously the guy playing the solo lane, but obviously picking it against the Chen, we'd probably expect someone else to be picked up for that solo lane and Bounty Hunter more just to rely on the roaming position, would you imagine?
He can do either or. It just depends on how focused Vega are going to be on using their Chen during the early game. Now, you can always put your Bounty in the off lane, wait for him to soak 6, don't let him, or don't focus the Chen too much, and then just kind of soak your Track, and then once you get level 6, you start moving around and making things happen that way. But if for whatever reason, like the mid right now from Basically Unknown is Magnus, still pretty hard to gank. You can pressure it, but can you actually kill it? And usually the answer is no, especially when it's a Rise who knows how to play the hero very well. So he understands the limitations. But with the Dragon Knight pickup here, it's going to be melee versus melee mid. So I'm thinking that Vega are going to last pick a support that has pretty good kill potential. Otherwise, this Chen might not be able to roam too effectively. Like, they need something to open for the Dragon Knight.
Okay, Basically Unknown, they pick up that Brood, so we can imagine that's to be there. Yeah, indeed, this roaming Bounty Hunter, which we've seen being very successful, especially against teams that do run the junglers like Chen. Obviously, Vega Squadron, they banned out the Earthshaker. We were talking about the fact that that might be banned out because that is obviously the hero we saw Relax, the stand-in at the moment for Basically Unknown, be very strong in yesterday. He had it in both games, and his team fight contribution was enormous. And in a lineup that's going to have Magnus and Disruptor, you don't really want to be dealing with an Earthshaker on top of that. Broodmother, though, well, it depends how well he plays the hero, but if he knows what he's doing, it can be very irritating to play against.
It's frustrating to say the least. Like, Brood is one hero that he kind of completely ruins a draft sometimes. Because if you look at what Vega have, not to say that it's in this particular game, because they do have Flak, they got Call Down, they have Axes, they have Breathe Fire, they do have a multitude of ways to deal with the Spiderlings. But in the early part of the game, she's going to be a huge nuisance because there's not really a good way to actually kill her. If she has spiders out, the Rocket Barrage isn't really as impactful for a solo kill potential. So think about, like, if the Bounty was there and there was one stun and he's caught outside of his creep wave, he just dies. But if you have your Spiderlings near you, they eat the majority of the Rocket Barrage damage if you have a few of them, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, not great. So I think Basically Unknown, the Brood pick for me, it is very strong. It leaves a lot for the Bounty Hunter to try to do during the early game, and I'm guessing for their side, they're just going to say, we'll follow the Chen around. We'll try to make his life as miserable as possible. Leave our Brood to solo the offlane, because the one support that Vega are going to have to pick needs to be able to, some way, either be able to kill the Brood or be able to wave clear.
And what I was going to say, the Rubik, Basically Unknown, final ban out the Rubik. In a lineup that's got Gyrocopter, it's a little bit surprising that we hadn't seen Rubik touched upon so far, but it is the final ban from Basically Unknown. And Vega, indeed, as you said, they've got to think long and hard about the support that they're going to match up here with the Gyrocopter, for Vega Squadron, and Basically Unknown themselves. They are still looking for Nico Baby's hero. We've seen a few bans out. We've seen the Slark and the Ursa taken away from the side, as we do anticipate the Nico Baby's going to be on one of those melee cores that's going to be able to use the bonus from Empower that will be provided from Arise in that classic BU play style as we see. Axe is going to be the answer, can clear out the waves, and lane-wise now with that picked up, it looks to be, I'd imagine, a Beastmaster support.
Well,
or Gyro support?
They could do gyro support. They could put Axe in lane, have him farm a quick blink, then the Beastmaster like starts getting farm priority after the Axe has his core items.
Okay.
And that way you can still look at like a 20-25 minute book 3. And once that happens, Bounty Hunter's going to have a hell of a time. Broodmother is pretty much in the same position. Vega have ways of killing these kind of roaming gankers in the Bounty and the Brood. It just takes a little bit of time for them to get their game going. So I think during the laning phase, basically Unknown will have a pretty okay time. If the Chen is harassed as much as I think he will be, the Chen's going to have a really, really tough early game.
He really is, and that's not great for Vega because they need the Chen to be ganking Arise because Arise, you need to be very scared of him. You've got to make sure he doesn't have a great start, and even when we've seen teams prioritize that, it just seems that they can't stop the power of the Magnus. I guess it's inevitable that he's going to get that level 6, and once he's got that, Arise will always be looking for, and most of the time, finding the plays. But I do like this final pickup from the side of Vega. It's classic Vega, isn't it? We were like, they need a support, they're going to pick Axe. You know, it's full brashes, full fight, and it's full on action, which is exactly what we want to see here. And arguably, I kind of feel the best way to deal with basically Unknown. If you can put them down in the early game, not allow it to get to that point where Unknown are going to look for the team fights with the Static Storm, with the RP to turn it around. If you're able to force on full power before they can kind of compose themselves and look to fight you head on, basically Unknown are going to have a hard time catching back up. But I guess they do have the track gold from Bounty, which can be nice as long as they're finding some kills.
Yeah, their mid game is kind of mediocre because a Brood is never really meant to come to a fight. It's more just like, we got a Bounty Hunter who's okay in 5 versus 5, but mostly is there for track. We have Disruptor, who is pretty good in team fights, actually, with the Field and, of course, a Static Storm. And then Magnus, who, if he lands his ulti, he'll be good. So now they needed a core hero that isn't Slark because it's banned out, or Ursa to try to contribute some meaningful way in the mid game. And I mean, Juggernaut is the first thing that comes to mind. Even though Roar is still good against it, and high armor targets like Dragon Knight and Axe are both good against it, you can't really pick Void because they don't have any damage inside of the sphere except for Disruptor and Mag Shockwave. So it's not really that great. They're going to need something that can actually contribute, and it's going to be PL. Okay. So more along the lines of a fighting carry, which is pretty much what they needed.
And PL? I've obviously seen a lot of power from it. Do you feel this is a good game for a Phantom Lancer against the lineup of Vega? Or?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. It's not great.
There's a fair bit of ways to deal with the illusions.
If you get roared, you die. Like that's the problem with the hero. And there's going to be a Blink Initiation and Axe. He's pretty good at clearing illusions. Gyrocopter is good at clearing illusions. DK when he hits 16 or even 11, also good at clearing illusions.
Yeah, with the splash.
There is a lot of AoE on the side of Vega. So I think, to be honest, basically Unknown, their one role might have a little bit of a hard time. Also not the hero that you normally see by Midas, because, you know, of all heroes, PL is usually one who doesn't ever make that item under any circumstance. But it's Nico Baby, so maybe he'll make a Midas anyway.
He does love his Midas. I think I'd like to say over 90% of the times we've seen him play, he always picks it up on his position 1 hero. And for the large part, it works, especially when you've got a Rise on his Magnus, because he can find the fights and you're not kind of required. The side of Unknown can fight without you for the large part of the earlier points. And well, here we go, into the first game of the day. Basically Unknown versus Vega, the first match of this 2-game series between the sides here. The ASUS ROG DreamLeague Season 3 League play stages. On the side of Vega, we're going to be seeing 9 Pasha. He's going to be on that core Axe. It's going to be Seema the Slayer on the support Gyrocopter. No one will be on the mid lane on his Dragon Knight. Solo in the jungle on the Chen. And that will indeed leave Mag on his signature Beastmaster here on the off lane for the side of the Dire. I'm ODPixel, I'm here with Draskell. And Andy, what are we seeing from the side of basically Unknown?
Gonna have a safe lane Brood here, being played by Relax. And towards top lane, we're gonna see Stomanen doing a little bit of scouting here, trying to see what's going on. I don't think anyone here has any detection, at least Chen does, but he's not gonna drop a sentry. Anyway, Pure Evil, he's gonna be handling Disruptor, Arise on his patented Magnus, and then Nico Baby on the Phantom Lancer.
So, I mean, interesting stuff at the moment in terms of basically Unknown. We were, you know, thinking about putting the Brood up against the gyro lane in terms of, you know, the Broodlings dealing with the Rocket Barrage, but Brood at the moment is towards the bottom. Now they're going to swap round. Okay, they were just looking to secure the rune spots by the looks of it, and Unknown will keep the tri-lane bot, and they'll keep Brood up top with the roaming Bounty.
That's interesting that he decided to drop a web there. Like, just, you know, casual web, no big deal. I mean, he's got a Mango and 2 Clarities, so he's not going to have any mana issues, that's for sure. But I really do want to know how much work this Chen's going to be able to do from Vega. That's going to be the big key. Can Solo actually get anything done with the Bounty Hunter following him around for the better part of the early game? I would say that basically Unknown's laning phase, outside of the Axe versus the Brood, which any Brood player will tell you, Brood should still win, but it's just not as bad as it would be normally. And it also depends a little bit on player skill. But Pasha starting off with doing some very aggressive wave cutting here.
Is he looking for the courier here, Seema the Slayer? He's not quite quick enough, yeah. Hey, we'll find the creep wave and we'll let it slightly away. The pings will come out. They do know that Seema is there. But yeah, so the way the lanes are settled out, I mean, who do you think's happy at this point in the game?
I think the last pick Axe is going to be pretty good for Vega. Yeah. Like, that's the one thing where I'm thinking they needed a hero who could actually stand up to the Brood and deliver a pretty solid mid game. Your other option, I guess, would have been like Tidehunter or something like that, or maybe even Darkseer. Okay. Either one would have been okay. But Axe is great because it makes some of the carries less attractive. And even picking the PL against what Vega have, I think overall their draft is nicer. It's just, again, the Chen's going to have a hard game. And the Brood should be able to get a decent amount out of the situation. And then it's just going to be down to mid-game. Like, you're going to be looking for the RPs. If Vega can get their Death Ball going with like Beastmaster, Dragon Knight, and Axe with a Chen, their push is crazy strong.
Yeah, an interesting look at the moment. Obviously, Solo's been given a little bit of space in his jungle. His Bounty Hunter isn't right behind him and was just hanging around here by the secret shot. So, I mean, what's the plan here for Staman? And what's he looking for at the moment?
I don't know, actually. He's just kind of like chilling there. I mean,
is he looking for the courier?
The courier, yeah. But it's not even moving. It's like all the way in the base. Oh, it's coming out now.
Here we go. Is he going to be able to find it? He's going to hang around long enough. The courier is on its way out. It does have the bottle on, I believe.
Oh, he's going back.
Oh, come on, Stamanen.
No, he has to know. Like, the mid player can just tell him that the courier isn't actually delivering the bottle yet. Like, because he can just click on no one and see that there's no bottle.
He really wants it. He's hanging around there. He's committing a lot of time for this.
Is Chen going to go get his bottle and give it to him?
Solo with the double damage, the protector of couriers.
He's actually going to go get the bottle on the courier and bring it to the DK.
This is hats off to Vega there. And yeah, who needs a courier when you've got Chen?
I mean, Chen is pretty much a courier.
This is, yeah, I mean, it's smart stuff. Obviously, that means the time that Staman has spent there has pretty much, he's still looking.
He's going to realize it as soon as the Chen walks by. He's going to be like, oh, they just used the Chen to give him the bottle. Yeah. And then he'll just be gone.
That's the way to do it. If you don't know where the Bounty Hunter is, yeah, they were obviously very aware that he's almost certainly looking for that, and he'll just head into the jungle back to annoy Solo again. But obviously Solo's found a bit of space and a bit of time. Has it level 2 bottom lane. We might see first, but as Pure will get slowly Axis fly through, Mag will be able to bring down the Disruptor. He does pay with his life here, ending up being a 1-for-1 trade there, but Mag getting the first blood. Well, I think the gold bonus is going to be worth it there for Vega.
It wasn't too bad. I mean, Nico didn't get the kill. He got a little bit of gold from the assist, but Etho taking some rocket barrage damage here. He does still have his doppelganger up, so I think he should be more than fine. But as expected, the Brood's starting to pull a little bit ahead in the top lane. And once he... It'll...
Gonna be a rat round here onto no one, but it is just a level 1 bounty.
He needs to get skewered. That's the only way.
I mean, bounty's just tickling in there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It needs to be like Janata into Skewer into Tower. That's the only way they can kill with those two heroes.
Yeah, I mean, and we talk about the fact that even though Bounty doesn't have, if it doesn't have the great start, he can still be, you know, very active towards the mid game. But this really isn't a great start. Four minutes in, still just level 1. Bottom lane, we are going to see them go on to Pure Evil, but he dropped the kinetic field. We'll be able to back himself up, but he might still go down. He will indeed. That's going to be the second kill here for Vega. Seema getting low, will go down to the tower hits. Nico Baby able to doppelganger himself away from Mag. Mag hasn't got the access for a few seconds, and taking the tower hits has to back off here. So another 1-for-1 trade there between the sides on the bottom lane.
Trading supports is kind of like, I guess it's okay. And Nico Baby has opted for the no stout shield build. He goes back for a bottle now, so he'll be able to sustain. Oh, no, he sells it. Is he going to go Midas?
Is he going to go Midas? The classic Nico Baby.
Okay, he did buy the bottle. There we go. I was like, bottle is super greedy. I think he just did it because the support was going to TP back to lane, and it kind of makes it so he doesn't have to...
Oh, he's looking for the courier snipe again. Round 2, Stamanen. He wants to find it, and this time I think he might. He's got the damage.
No, he doesn't one-shot. He needs 2. There we go.
He's got it. Didn't have the bottle on there.
Yeah, it's really frustrating, though, because the bounty has spent so much time being off-map that it's kind of hard to anticipate the second attempt on courier snipe, especially when the courier is flying, too. So you know that he's going to be MIA, and the only way you can know if he's by the Chen is the Chen's experience is being cut in the jungle, because any experienced jungle player will know how much experience everything gives you when you're alone. And then if a hero's standing on top of you invis and you're sharing EXP, then it's like, ah, okay, he's here. But unfortunately, that was not the case.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Coming out pretty far here. The Bounty Hunter is around with the Brood Mother, but he's going to be hard to go on at this point. Axe is fairly tanky as well with his Ring of Health that he's decided to pick up. So looking for that Vanguard, which we do normally see, of course, the melee heroes go for in a lane against the Brood Mother, because the Vanguard does quite a bit against their little babies.
Yeah, he's going to get chased down here, though. There's no points in an incapacitating bite, so it's a pretty low speed chase, I guess.
Oh, the spins come through. Ah, the shuriken as well.
Hit. Mango. Mango.
Where's
He's waiting for Soul Ring.
He doesn't need the mango.
Wait, what? Hello?
This man is, he doesn't like his mangoes.
What?
Mango intolerant.
He even had Soul Ring up. Like, what? I'm not like UI bugged, am I?
No, he used it then.
I'm not wearing the googly eyes, am I?
Well, maybe he didn't want to get that kill. Bottom lane,
so
Mag wants to get
confused.
this kill onto Nico Baby. Throws out the raw. Nico Baby's going to be pretty much unfazed. It's going to be a kinetic field from the high ground here. Doesn't trap Mag. Nico Baby just trying to give the old Beastmaster a little bit of a rundown, but Mag will be able to keep himself safe. So no one dying in a variety of situations where it did look like
no one's
it was going to be lethal.
He's he didn't die.
No one is alive?
Yes.
Oh, Andy.
Got him.
Andy, please. These jokes.
Never funny, baby rage. All right, so yeah, the early game is, well, let's just say that top was a little bit of a...
that was a nice stun there. We'll hold back the skew, and a Rise might go down. It does manage to get the skew off onto Gyro, but he will fall, and that will be a kill there for Vega.
That was pretty funny. The old skewer while you're getting rocket barraged and then die in front of your tower. Nice little combination, though, coming out from Vega, managing to secure the kill onto Mag, keeping him a little bit farther away from his blink. He's still got 1,500 gold, though, so it's not as if his farm is being held back by any large margin. In fact, everyone's farming well in this game.
They really are.
Like, everyone is hitting creeps. So it's going to be a lot of items very quickly, and then lots of fighting.
Yeah, indeed. And not much to man, just keeping tabs here on the old solo Chen. Curry's going to be back up in 20 seconds, and I have a feeling Stamana's been keeping a time at this because he's hanging around the mid lane. Maybe looking for the secondary courier snipe, but no, he's going to head his attention straight towards the mid. Now, is he going to hang around here and look for the courier again?
I mean, I guess he could.
He could. He's going to look for bigger things. He's maybe thinking about DK, but DK has got 2 points in the Dragon's Blood. It's going to be a little bit hard for him and the Magnus to take him down alone.
No one's level 8, actually. 45 CS. 7 minutes into the game, he is doing very, very well. But like I said, everyone on both sides is getting a lot out of their laning phase. Yeah. I think the most concerning thing is Mag is still getting decent farm. Like, he is only 1,000 for book 1.
There's the courier snipe. Courier. Oh, there's the courier going down. Okay, he misses the courier. The courier won't go down, but as you said, maybe looking to try and find someone on base lane, but they're going to be able to get themselves out. PL, Nico Baby, proving to be a little bit too elusive. He wants that courier. He's not going to find it, though.
A little bit unfortunate. I think it's so funny that, top lane, Pasha, maybe getting dove here looks like relax the sides.
A lot of TP reactions coming in. They've got the dust. The Centaur Stomp will miss, but the Berserker's Call will not. And Relax will go down. They kill the Spider here with the rotations from Vega. And well, with the full roster up here, they're ready to try and take some towers. Of course, no one with level 8 has got that true Dragon Form. And here we go. They're going to look to try and take some towers. And this is the Vega momentum that we see them look for pretty much every early game. This is standard Vega.
Well, it's really nice because of the Chen and the Dragon Knight. Like, that push potential alone means that you can kill almost every single tower within the first, like, 20 minutes of the game. No big deal. Like, just walk to the tier 2, you got your Corrosive Breath on the DK, you got the Swiftness Aura from the Hellbear Smasher, you even have Vanguard on your Axe if you want it, or you could even go for Blink. Magnus is TPing in here. Ooh. That cast point on call, man.
0.3 to 0.4. Whew. Not great. Not great for Pasha there. Could have maybe held him in place to get the kill. RP is, of course, available for Rise, but this is one of those games that 9 minutes in, he's still a very long way away from his Blink Dagger, and they will lose the tier 2 here as well, basically. On that.
Pasha is going to have his Blink in about 200 gold. So I think he was going to go Vanguard, but then decided against it because of the fact that he was actually doing so well in his lane. Like, he got away,
yeah.
And then he gets a kill, pretty much. Or he didn't actually get the kill with a Cull. That's interesting. I guess he just dealt damage with it. So still, he'll have his Blink pretty much after this camp, and then you're going to be looking to see a lot more action coming out, I think, from Vega. Like, every time Dragon Knight ulti is up, they're pretty much going to want to push or fight and then kill a tower.
Bottom lane. Mag still looking towards his Necro book, very close as well, just a couple of hundred away from that recipe. Mid lane, there will be a successful skewer onto the Dragon Knight. He's going to look to just TP out, and he's just a little bit too tagged. The Glimpse will hold him back, but now he just runs back to his tower. Can they bring him down here? Turns around with Dragon's Breath, pops the stick charges. Is he going to live here? No, the Spirit Lance flies through, and the rotation from Nico Baby will secure them the kill, but man, it takes a lot to bring down this Dragon Knight.
Well, that was, what, 3 or 4 heroes as well? Like, Nico came in at the very end and just gave away, like, the fadeaway jump shot lance to kill him. But still, Vega, I think, are in a pretty powerful position here. Pasha with the Blink Dagger, he can make something happen. They don't have a smoke on him. But if they want, when the DK is alive, there is Dragon Form available, and with the Chen creeps, they can just look to push. Like, without RP, there's no real way basically no one can defend. Like, their team is not built around the 5-man yet. They don't even have level 6 on Pure Evil, so there's no Static Storm. There's no track either. I mean, Staman's level 4. It's 11 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly feeling like what we were talking about in the draft. The fact that if Vega play like this and get themselves to this point where basically they just don't have the tools or the capability to fight into it, it's going to be very hard for them to slow down the momentum of Vega at this point, 11 minutes in. And top lane, they're going to find the Spider. Relax, in a lot of trouble, will pop the lifesteal, tries to do his best, but the spins are real. And NinePasha will be able to claim a kill onto the 8-legged freak.
Welp, that is really troublesome because now...
Oh. There's your Raw. They've got a Dragon Tail as well. Nico Baby, he's got nowhere to doppelganger to. He's just held in place, brought down.
That was so close to him being able to doppelganger, actually. There's only like a quarter of a second left on the stun, maybe less.
Now they look to take the tier 1 here with the remainder of the Dragon Knight ultimate. I'm going to get away with it.
Rip.
So, I mean, Stamana's still killing the couriers.
Yeah, but
that's
I think he's actually overemphasizing courier snipes. Like, the first time he killed it, he should have been happy, sat on the Chen, been a nuisance, soaked experience, made his life crap, and then that would have been, I think, a bigger impact than what he's actually done, which is basically sit between the tier 2 and the tier 3 mid for like the entire early game.
Oh, the ping's coming onto NinePasha, but he's going to be fairly hard to bring down because he does have the completed Vanguard on top of the bling. He's going to just try and walk this one off. The spins bringing a Rise. Rise says, actually, I don't want to be here. Static Storm will get thrown down to stop NinePasha from getting off the Berserker's call. But NinePasha, he wants to go back in. He walks through the Static Storm. Will get glimpsed back, but this man shows no fear. He wants to fight them here. He finds the call onto Pure Evil. Rise now skewers him back and says, NinePasha, you're being a little bit greedy here, son. Hand of God comes through, but Axe will go down. And he just really wanted to fight there, Andy.
That was the manliest play I've ever seen in my life. Like, he walked back through a Static Storm to fight 4 heroes. I will say that was maybe a touch over-aggressive.
He wanted some, and he got some.
I guarantee you the entire time he was doing that, he was just yelling at his team. He's like, team, where are you? Help me. I am very strong. And then he eventually just dies because 4-on-1, 12 minutes into the game, maybe not advised. RP is available here on a Rise, but he doesn't have that much mana, so I'm not sure if he'll be able to defend this.
It's going to be hard for him to find this RP initiation. He has got the blink, but they do know that he's got it, so they're keeping themselves very carefully positioned. Top lane, the tower will go down. Relax, we'll find it on the Broodmother. And now does have the Midas. So we're going to get to that point in the game where Vega, if they forget about the Brood, he is going to start spiraling out of control, but it's just what can the Brood do with that gold advantage? Do you expect him to go for the pushing build, look for the Necro books, or does he need to build in a way that he can offer to the fights that basically alone are being forced to take at this point?
Book is a really good option in every game, I think, as Brood. Some people also opt to go for Dagon. I know Bulldog actually loves doing that build. Somebody comes to the lane, you just like use your spawn Spiderlings, Dagon them, they're too low HP to fight back. But I'm not entirely sure if that build would be good because he's not ahead. Like, you want to be ahead when you go that build, so that way you can like pick off people easier. So maybe he goes back for the book, maybe he goes for like even just BKB or Orchid, standard Brood stuff. The options are kind of open, but I still think book is very nice for this game.
He's going to find NinePasha backs off. Nico Baby here chilling on the cliff. And just doing a bit of that juggling from the sidelines here. Maybe seeing if any of the weaker heroes did opt to go for that bounty so he can make a jump on them. But he's just going to claim it here for himself. And Vega, they're grouped up at the bottom. Seema the Slayer, Mag, no one. The two of them are smoked up. Oh, Nico Baby's got to be very careful where he goes. He's going to keep himself safe and heading towards the mid lane. Doesn't look like Vega will be able to catch him out. They're going to continue to pursue towards the mid lane. Maybe they do. Nico Baby stopped a farm. They've got the lockdown here with the Raw and the Dragon Tail. Can they get the damage out? The Axes, I believe, actually missed there, but they still bring him down. It doesn't matter. Nico Baby getting picked off again, and this Beastmaster Dragon Knight combo, you're pretty much killing anyone you find at this point.
It's one of the problems when you run a Broodmother, is that you never have an offlaner who really contributes to the fight. And Staman, he's going to spot out NinePasha here, throws out a track. There are a lot of members of basically Unknown in the area.
Are they killing the Axe? There will be a glimpse in a Static Storm. Maybe with this they can, but he's a little bit tanky. They have to throw down the RP as well just to secure the kill. And
this is Roshan, though, for Vega. That's the thing. Like, with that RP used, there's no way they can defend Roshan. I'm not even sure if they know that Vega are doing it in the first place. There's no vision around the pit. All of their wards are aggressive, and it looks like they're really trying to play around this Brood. But, as we just saw, when you're playing around the Brood, and the Brood can't come to any fights, the PL becomes susceptible to getting ganked non-stop. And with his Roshan kill, I'm fairly certain Mag's even going to have his Book 3. He has enough money for it right now. They're going to get Aegis up on the DK.
Book 3. 16 minutes in.
Yeah, this is
Classic
the thing.
Mag.
I mean, this is even earlier than his normal timing, but he also had an easier lane than he usually gets, because they put him off lane, but...
Oh, we got the courier.
All right, so that's courier snipe number 3, and that's 525 net worth. Thankfully, Mag's book was in stash, so if he wants to go run and get it, he can do that. Otherwise, he's going to have to wait 3 minutes. And Bounty Hunter just casually buys a gem. No, wait, did he sell it? No, he kept it. Okay.
The push is going to come here onto the mid lane.
Like, basically, no, can't fight this. That's the thing. Like,
really
PL can't fight it. Brood can't fight it. Bounty Hunter can't fight it. Like, this 5-man death ball is the real problem, which is why I emphasize so heavily that basically Unknown's lanes had to crush. Like, they have to win super, super hard to make Vega's 5-man weaker, or so that the Brood can actually get some work done in the lane. And yeah, he killed the tier 1, but you're going to lose your last outer tier tower in the next, like, 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, and Nine Pasha, he's found the spider. The spins are really finishes off with a dunk. And that should bring Mother down. Now with the dust onto Bounty, so they're trying to chase down Shtaman. They won't quite be able to find the way through, and there will be a glimpse now onto Seema, but he just drops the cooldown. A Lance flying through onto the Gyrocopter, but the side of basically they really can't fight into this. There'll be a troll trap onto Shaman, and with the Hand of God, the side of Vega just continuing to fight. There's a Static Storm laid down, but they just walk out of it. It's doing absolutely nothing here, and now no one coming in with a Shadow Blade trying to close the gap onto someone. He will find the Dragon Tail onto Pure Evil. Pure Evil getting 4 staff back. They will be able to save the Disruptor here, but 8 for 5, and basically Unknown just... They're not finding the kind of fights that you'd expect them to want to look for with the lineup that they drafted.
Well, the problem is the lineup that they drafted only has 2 ways of fighting. You get a good RP, or you get a good RP. All right, so that, I guess that's just one. They're going to have to defend their high ground with RP and Static Storm. That is the only way they can take a team fight. Like this PL, he's way too far away from having anything resembling team fight capability. He needs a full defusal before he even does damage. Like Nico does not have the time to farm these items when Vega are just running at them non-stop. It's going to eventually end up being one of those scenarios where even the Brood's going to have to sit in base. And when your Brood has to sit in base, you got problems. Like, that hero needs to be pressuring lanes all the time. And without the 5th hero, there's just not enough damage on basically Unknown to kill anyone right now.
There really isn't, and Vega, they're ready to try and push down this bottom lane and claim the final tier 2 from the side of basically Unknown, just 18 minutes into the game. Arise, he's got the blink and the 4-star, so he's definitely got the tools to try and find himself in a position for the perfect RP, but Vega at the moment, they've just not been caught out in a fashion that basically Unknown would like them to have been. And it doesn't look like basically Unknown are going to contest this. They're just going to push themselves, try and take a tier 2 of their own in the mid lane as we see Nico Baby start to push on the Phantom Lancer. The bottom tier 2 will go down. To basically not even find this tier 2 in the mid lane. They're going to try and force them back, Vega. They continue the push, maybe going up to the high ground here, which is going to force basically Unknown to back off. Nico Baby might stick around here to finish off this tier 2, but they're going to need to do something here because they've got a 4-5-man push onto the tier 3, 19 minutes in. Fortification will be out, but Andy, we need to see something more of a reaction from basically Unknown now.
They have one shot. It just has to be like a god tier RP.
Okay, that's a nice RP. They've got the Static Storm and Kinetic Field as well. They've caught 3. They might be able to bring some people down. Yes, Solo's gone down, but now with the Roar onto Arise, no one in 9 Pasha. They're just too tanky, even caught in those 2 ultimates. They're not dying. It's a double kill for 9 Pasha. Buyback on Arise and buyback on Nico Baby. The side of Vega, they do decide to leave the base. There will be a glimpse onto 9 Pasha, but he blinks out straight away. There's nothing to cancel the blink. Now no one. He has a Spirit Lance onto the Dragon Knight, but he's still got the Aegis on this Dragon Knight. He could go for round 2. Relax with the BKB now, trying to chase down 9 Pasha. Stamana getting the tracks out. The side of basically Unknown, they do bring down the Dragon Knight for the first time. Can they kill him a second time? He's trapped in the Kinetic Field. Will try and walk out. Basically Unknown, they back off. Now they got to get themselves back in, but they just can't kill him. He will get glimpsed back. He's been tracked up as well, but he's so tanky. He's just going to walk out of the base. Spirit Lance will not connect on him. It looks like the rest of Vega have left him to hang dry, and he does go down. Now Seema the Slayer tracked up. Nico Baby doppelganging forward. Stormman and getting onto the Rocket Barrage. Missiles flying through as well as the Bounty Hunter. It might kill him. Seema the Slayer goes down to the Spirit Lance. It flies through onto the Bounty. He goes down in return. It ends up being a bit of a mess, but Vega, they did take the tier 3. Basically Unknown are able to defend, but they do expend 2 buybacks on 2 of their cores, Andy.
Yeah, it was painful. I mean, you start the fight off by getting a 3-man RP into a perfectly overlapped Static Storm Kinetic Field, and you still lose a tower. You still have to buy back a multiple heroes.
At the start.
And yeah, you killed Solo, and that was it. I'm pretty sure he even got his Hand of God and Mech off before he ended up dropping. So that was about as good of an RP combo as you're ever going to find. Like, getting 3 heroes is actually a miracle. I thought max they'd maybe get 2. And getting 2 and also being able to skew them into the tier 3 towers or tier 4s, you're not going to find that opportunity twice. Like, I don't think Solo has any business really standing anywhere near the 2 heroes attacking the tower in the first place, so that was just like bad positioning on their part. Otherwise, the rest of it was kind of just, once that fight starts off, you are fully committed. Like, as soon as you get skewered like that, you have no way of doing anything but taking the engagement. Now, Vega, probably not going to feel great about that push, but on the bright side, I still don't think Basically Unknown have the tools necessary to fight outside of the base. They're still going to have to rely on that RP very, very much.
Oh, and there is the RP you're talking about, my friend. Onto 9 Pasha, screwing him back as well. 9 Pasha will find the call. Kinetic Field and Static Storm have been dropped down onto the Axe. No one's been caught in as well. Nobody's just losing none of his health points. He's so tanky. Lance will fly through onto the Axe. They do bring down the Axe. Now with the Roar and the Dragon Tail onto Nico Baby, they find a kill in return. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Maybe looking for more. Shtaman, and he hides in the tree lines. We're going to see the rest of the side of Basically Unknown TP out. It will just end up being a 1-for-1 trade, but losing your PL for the Axe isn't something you want to be doing, especially when the PL's down for 50 seconds and has no buyback to defend the inevitable push here.
Well, I don't know if they're going to be able to mount a push because they don't have their initiator anymore.
Okay.
And Mag has yet to buy a Blink Dagger. He's getting close, but without the Axe, they don't have the opportunity to really go for a jump. This is not an Aegis push, whereas before, they were able to just kind of force a reaction because they know that DK had 2 lives. They're not going to have that, at least for the next couple of minutes. We're going to have about 2 minutes left before we're going to see when Roshan is going to be either a long or a short spawn. And I assume Vega are going to be prioritizing that first and foremost and just say, okay, we'll get the second Aegis. We'll try to spread out a little bit more when we're sieging. And since a tier 3 bottom is dead, you get a much better concave that way without having to group up around that one tiny point. So now getting that RP that Arise got previously is going to be way, way harder because there's more room for Vega to spread out once they reach that high ground. So things still looking a little bit troublesome for Basically Unknown. On the bright side, their PL did finish Diffusal. So Diffusal means that his damage output is now something that is threatening, whereas before it wasn't quite so much.
No one here with a Silver Edge. He's going to find the Disruptor straight in with the hits. They've got the army following through as the first Sentinel Stomp comes through. It's all that's going to be needed as Disruptor gets taken down here. I mean, it's only 13 for 9, but I mean, if you have a look at the graph, it's got to be quite a huge advantage at the moment for Vega. Oh, okay. It's not as big as it feels here. XP actually favoring Unknown. That's a way to kill a bounty hunter. But according to the graphs, it's surprisingly even though it really feels like Vega, they've got the hold of this game.
It's what their lineup is meant to do. They have a very brute force style of lineup where they're able to walk down a lane, kill towers, they got book 3, they have very good disables that also go through magic immunity. They just have a multitude of ways to push and continue to cause pressure where right now Relax getting caught out here. He does have the BKB. He's going to go for a teleport out. It's going to be close actually.
Ooh.
Not quite.
Makes it out. Chen, how's he doing on the Aghanims front? We saw Solo getting very close to it. Yep, just 450 gold away from his Aghanims as well. So 24 minutes in, on top of the Mech and the Arcanes. Pretty respectable timing here for Solo. And I mean, as we were saying before, we were talking about Solo's performance on the Chen. And even in a game like this where he didn't have a great time at the start thanks to Bounty Hunter, he's still proven to be very valuable in these pushes.
Well, you always want to make sure that whenever you're trying to push, you have a, you want one hero that sustains, which is kind of the Chen. And he also adds to damage because of the creeps. And then you have Beastmaster and Dragon Knight, who are pretty much just solely pushers. And Beastmaster also has a bit of pick potential. So Vega have a very good lineup for kind of ending the game.
Found 9 Pasha here. We're going to see Arise trying to get in position. He'll bop the RP for this one as well.
No!
Pulling out the skewer.
The Glimpse pulled him out of the skewer.
Oh, and now Mike, he's trying to look for a Primal Roar as the side of Vega might want to turn around that little bit of a bad engagement. A Hawk comes out, they're looking for the Roar, they don't need it because the call is onto Disruptor. He'll go down, top on the cliff as well. They found the Broodmother. She'll fall as well. As a mega kill streak here for Mag. And now they're ready to push. Both of the heroes on the side of Basically Unknown, they do have buyback available. And I mean, this is it. And I think this is also, noting to the net worth the fact that it looked kind of even. It is, of course.
The Courier died again.
The Courier's died so many times.
That's Courier 4, I think.
I mean, Stamanen, he's got something about these. He really doesn't like them. They must have done something to him in a past life because this Beastmaster, Bounty Hunter's got it in for them. There's going to be a glimpse onto 9 Pasha.
Nice.
There's the glimpse and skewer combination, bringing him, 2 miles into the enemy's base, and they will be able to bring down the Axe. The rest of the side of Vega deciding whether they want to fight into this. Broodmother's popped the BKB, trying to chase him out of the base. Now with the Hand of God popped. Do they want to go back in for round 2? They haven't got the axe, and maybe this is the time for basically to slowly dismantle them piece by piece. Cooldown will be onto all 3 of them, 4 of them in fact. No one, he's just not dying. They're trying to focus this Dragon Knight, but they can't kill him. They'll just turn around, they'll kill the Broodmother who did buy back for that engagement, and now your Brood and PL are down, and they don't have buyback. So this is a really nice window for Vega to try and push up to the high ground, and they'll certainly do that here. Straight onto the tier 3s. And basically, Unknown, they haven't got a Static Storm, they haven't got an RP. It's going to be very hard for them to defend against this pressure.
It's only 15 seconds. I think they might lose Rax here, but Dragon Form is also going to be fading around the same time that RP actually comes off cooldown. So they might be able to get a couple of picks while Vega are retreating.
Smoke up from Arise. He really wants to catch them off guard, and he might actually do that. They're kind of grouped up here. But he's only going to find the RP onto 1.
Oh, he got him! What? Okay, he died in the base. And there's a glimpse onto Seema.
Another very tasty pick off there for the side of basically Unknown, but the Arise getting low, not low enough. Stays alive and is able to secure himself the double kill here. So we're seeing basically Unknown defend. Their base is slowly getting taken away from them bit by bit, but they're managing to halt Vega for the time being.
It was very impressive that they managed to have a really nice play into killing Pasha. Had the axe been there at the beginning of the siege, it would have been very, very different. So when RP's down, Vega have the mentality of that is their one ability that can potentially turn the game in their favor when we're pushing high ground. So now we got to go. Like that's how they think of it. And then they managed to have the axe blink in very far. Very nice timing on the glimpse itself from the disruptor, waiting until he already walked out before he goes back in for the glimpse and just push him into tier 4, get a kill. And suddenly, a 4 versus 5, even without RP, basically Unknown can fight 4 versus 5 if they're the ones who are advantaged, obviously. So it was very, very lucky that they were able to find that pick in the first place. I don't know if Vega are going to do the same thing again because they're going to have Aegis, and also the Dragon Knight just finished up his BKB on top of the Silver Edge. So the next time they push, it's going to be the hardest push to stop that they've been able to put together this entire game. And the Chen is even going to have Aghanims on top of the fact that he has that mech. So you're going to be looking at a lot more sustain in the Chen heal. Every creep wave that spawns, they're going to have a Chen heal. Just to put that in perspective, like that's how often it's going to be up.
Oh, we're going to see them go for Roshan here, the side of Vega. Unknown. They've got the Disruptor, the Arise Magnus, and the PL all on the top lane, so really not in a position to contest this. And it looks like Vega might get away with this one, bringing Roche down to half health. Basically, Unknown still just focusing on the push. Now there'll be a TP back from PL just towards the bottom lane, but it looks like Nico Baby is just trying to find the farm. They don't want to kick anything off at the moment, and that will give the space and time for Vega to find Roshan, and the Aegis now in the Dragon Knight is just going to make that push that a little bit scarier here if Vega want to pile on the pressure.
I think they will. There's one lane with a melee Rax already down. The bottom tier 3 is gone because they killed it a little bit earlier. Again, these pushes are so reliant on Magnus getting a good RP.
And Chen, he's got the Kobold.
Yeah. The Kobold is the dream. That is the speed creep. Everyone's moving a tiny bit faster here. I think it's 12%, yeah. 12% speed. They got the health as well on the Golem. So everyone is just tanky. Like this Dragon Knight has 2,300 HP right now. I mean, this is insane. Like this push is so difficult to stop.
Well, the illusions do come out. They pretty much remove the entirety of no one's mana pool. But he will be still able to get out the Dragon Form, and onto the Rax they go. Arise now with the solo RP, wants to pull Dragon Knight out of this fight, but Dragon Knight of course does have the Aegis, will put the BKB straight away and the Shadow Blade as well. There is your second RP holding no one again, but now Mag turns it around with the Primal Roar onto Arise. They brought down the Magnus. The Dragon Knight, he's just not died yet. He's still alive. The Hand of God did so much in terms of keeping him up. He'll turn around looking for a Dragon Tail, but it was actually, I believe, onto a creep. It wasn't onto a hero. And the fight continues, but basically they're down 2 heroes. And Vega, they lose nothing in that fight.
And Stomanen is realizing now that his team is no longer in the vicinity, and he will be following suit with the Disruptor and the Magnus, even buying back. But I do believe that this game is very close to being called from basically Unknown. It's just too difficult to stop the 5-man death ball that Vega have. Like, you're down 2 racks already. How are you supposed to be able to defend when a double RP can't even save your base? Now, Arise's double RP wasn't really impressive in terms of how many heroes it hit, but they had to do something, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just have to go. Otherwise, you just end up losing your base. And unfortunately, I think they might just make it here.
Yeah, and well, Nico Baby comes in close and personal, but then the call catches him straight away. Your PL goes down, he will buy back and TP straight into it, but they've already lost the Brood Mother as well. She doesn't have buyback available, and Nico Baby just has to doppelganger himself away. They're on to the final set of racks here. It doesn't look like there's any stopping Vega with 30 minutes in. GG is called. And I mean, I was saying it before, Vega looking very impressive. I mean, in that game, basically Unknown just unable to stop the pressure, stop the power. And I mean, we're going to see 3 more games from the side of Vega today. What do you do against this side? Well, how do you cripple them?
I do think that, in a way, the draft was kind of important for Vega because they had a pretty clear strategy, right? Like, let's deathball, let's 5-man, you know. The Brood pick from basically Unknown, I thought it was kind of clever at first, and then you see the Axe pick, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, the Brood still kind of wins that lane, but it's not really a crush, and with the Bounty Hunter and the Brood Mother on top of that, you have 2 heroes who are pretty subpar in fighting 5 versus 5. Disruptor's okay, PL's okay until he gets a lot of items, but he didn't have the time. I mean, at the end of the game, he had Treads, Diffusal, Vlad's, Yasha. That's like good farm, but it's a 30-minute game, and that was when you got Mega'd. Those are the items that you had. So it just wasn't enough to be able to hold off what Vega were putting together in terms of push. Like Chen, Dragon Knight, that's already enough to kill like every outer tier tower. They had no deep push on the side of basically Unknown except for Magnus. And without deep push, the waves, you're just like fighting into 2 or 3 creep waves and Chen creeps and their entire team. Like, you can't do anything against that unless you win the lanes really, really hard. And that also comes into play where I think Stomanin maybe focused the courier too much. Like, he gets it once, I'd say that was fine. 2, 3, 4 times, those courier snipes were irrelevant. They didn't change the game at all. When he killed the courier the first time, it only had, actually I don't think it had anything on it.
It didn't have the bottle on.
And then the second time it had something that was...
It had a bracer on.
Yeah, like 525 net worth, and that didn't matter. I think he would have been much better served just like sticking in solo, like the whole time, just make the Chen not able to do anything. Because then, the Chen's impact in the early game is more important than your impact on the bounty anyway. And once you hit 6, you can start throwing out tracks. Because I feel if basically Unknown had been able to defend maybe like 1 or 2 more times and not lose racks, it would have been anyone's game at that point, because the PL becomes really scary after a while. But didn't have the time.
I didn't indeed, and the fact that Vega in that draft, they obviously got the heroes they're very comfortable with. Solo on the Chen, obviously notable. No one on his Dragon Knight, which we do know he loves, and of course Mag on his Beastmaster. Now, if you're looking to really dent the playstyle, out of those 3 heroes, who do you feel you've really got to take away from them?
I think you ban Chen.
Ban the Chen.
Yeah, you ban Chen or you ban Beastmaster.
Okay.
You have to do one of the 2, because if you don't, you're going to have this game where Mag is very consistent in his performance. He always has Necro Book 20 or pre-20, and Book 3 on Beastmaster with Inner Beast, he even opted out of skilling Wild Axes. Like, he had 2 points, and then he maxed out Inner Beast because he realized, ah, yeah, we're just deathballing. You know, 5-man Dota, attack speed's pretty good. It just, you can't give them that much push and then not pick any counter push or team fight. Like, you need something to counter it. So if you're not going to pick that style of lineup, take out the Chen or take out the Beastmaster.
Well, there we have it. We'll see indeed if basically Unknown do that in the second game of this first series of the day, which we'll have coming on very, very shortly. But first of all, we're going to send you over to a quick commercial break and then over to our panel hosts. Myself and Andy, we'll see you guys in a